Something is seriously off here, and the strange part is that Valentin may stumble into the center of it without even meaning to. We have this wild chain of events where he is suddenly aimed straight at Cullum and Sidwell because he thinks they might be tied to Jocelyn's disappearance. And honestly, that part alone already smells like trouble. But then the story twists even harder, because while Valentin is chasing one crisis, he could accidentally uncover something that ends up saving Britt's life. That is the kind of messy, high stakes turn that makes the whole situation feel like it is about to crack wide open. What we already know is simple on the surface, but very messy underneath. Britt and Rocco are on the run. They're out there somewhere, trying to stay hidden, trying to survive, and somebody is clearly hunting them. But Valentin is not actually involved in that chase, and that is important. He is not obsessing over who is after Britt and Rocco. He is locked in on one thing only, and that is Jocelyn. That focus matters, because once Valentin decides to go after a missing person, he does not usually do it halfway. He pushes, he digs, he gets dangerous. And in this case, he may be doing it for all the right reasons. Here is where it gets really interesting. Valentin somehow learns that Brennan did not send Jocelyn on a secret mission. That changes everything. Because the second that possibility falls apart, the whole explanation for Jocelyn's disappearance starts to collapse too. It seems that Valentin quickly realizes this is not some clean operation gone wrong. This could mean Jocelyn was never supposed to vanish the way she did. And once that idea hits him, there is a strong chance his mind goes straight to the darkest possibilities. If Brennan is not behind it, then who is? And if the answer is not Brennan, then people like Cullum and Sidwell suddenly look a lot more suspicious. And I think that is exactly where Valentin's instincts kick in. We all know he has lived long enough to recognize when a story has holes in it. So he starts connecting the dots in real time. He has a personal reason to take this seriously too, because of his bond with Carly. That is not just some background detail that makes everything sharper. He is not just looking at Jocelyn as another missing person. He is looking at her as Carly's daughter. And if you ask me, that changes the emotional engine completely. Valentin is not likely to sit back and wait for the situation to resolve itself. He is the kind of man who would step straight into danger if he thinks he can bring Jocelyn home. But now the plot starts bending in a way no one saw coming. Valentin suspects Cullum and Sidwell, and on the surface, that makes sense. They are already standing in the shadow of this whole mess. They have the kind of energy that makes everyone in their orbit look twice before speaking. So Valentin targets them. He starts zeroing in on both men because, from his perspective, they could be the ones behind Jocelyn's disappearance. And that suspicion might not be entirely wrong, even if the truth is uglier and more complicated than anyone realizes. Because yes, Jocelyn really is being held at Sidwell's castle. That part is true, but the deeper twist is that Cassius, not Sidwell, is the one secretly keeping her locked away. That is the kind of detail that changes the entire map. Sidwell may think he is in control, but he may not even know what is going on in his own place. That is huge. It means Valentin could charge into this situation thinking he is hunting one scheme while actually walking into another. And that kind of misdirection is exactly how these stories get deliciously dangerous. What if Valentin's investigation goes off course but still lands on the right target by accident? That is very possible here. He might not understand the full truth at first. He might not even know Cassius is the real jailer. But he could still end up finding Jocelyn in the basement of the castle. And that would be one of those brutal cinematic soap moments where the wrong road leads to the right door. It would not matter that his theory was incomplete. What would matter is that he got there in time. Or at least close enough. And while Valentin is moving through that castle, another thread could be waiting in the shadows. This is where things get even more explosive. In some hidden room, while Sidwell is distracted and Cullum is off chasing Britt and Rocco, Valentin could stumble onto a secret that changes Britt's future completely. A locked room, hidden files, a stash nobody was supposed to see. And in that place, he may find the formula for Britt's treatment. That is the kind of accidental discovery that feels almost too big to be random, which is exactly why it works. This could mean Valentin becomes Britt's unexpected lifesaver. Not because he set out to help her, and not because he was part of some grand rescue plan, but because he was chasing one crisis and fell headfirst into another. I love that kind of soap chaos. It has that wild domino effect where one dangerous mission knocks loose the key to somebody else's survival. Britt could be out there on borrowed time, and Valentin could end up holding the one thing that gives her a real shot. That is not just irony. That is full-on fate with teeth. Now, there is an important detail here. Valentin is not really chasing Britt. He is not actively trying to save Rocco either. That is not his lane in this story. But because Sidwell and Cullum may be tangled in several overlapping schemes at once, Valentin could end up tripping over exactly what Britt needs. And that makes the whole picture feel tighter and more dangerous. While Sidwell and Cullum are busy hunting Britt and Rocco, Valentin is inside the machine, pulling at a loose wire that nobody noticed. That is often how the biggest leaks happen. One wrong turn. Aha! One hidden room, one file left behind. So what happens next? That is where the speculation gets really juicy. One possibility is that Valentin rescues Jocelyn and hands Britt's treatment formula over to someone later. Another possibility is even better, at least from a dramatic standpoint. Valentin could secretly go looking for Britt after this, armed with the formula, and deliver it himself. That would put him in the role of covert helper, the man who keeps stepping into disaster and still comes out with something valuable in his hands. And if that happens, Britt may be able to create the treatment on her own, in secret, before she finally returns to town. That creates a very suspenseful survival path. Quiet, hidden, time sensitive. Exactly the kind of setup that keeps the pressure dialed all the way up. And let us be honest, that is the part that makes this whole theory click. Valentin does not need to understand every single layer of the scheme for the outcome to be real. He just needs to find Jocelyn. He just needs to pull one important thread and not let go. If that happens, Britt gets a shot at survival too. That is the double payoff. 2 lives changed by 1 investigation. 2 separate crises colliding in one dark location. And the fact that Sidwell may not even realize his own castle is hiding both a prisoner and a cure just makes the whole thing feel even more twisted. The real question is whether Valentin is walking into a rescue or into a trap. Because if Cassius is the one truly holding Jocelyn, then Valentin could be dealing with a far more layered setup than he expects. And if Sidwell and Cullum are occupied with their own hunt, they may not even see Valentin coming until it is too late. That means the castle becomes a pressure cooker. Jocelyn in the basement. Britt's formula hidden nearby. Valentin moving through the dark, trying to piece together a truth nobody is handing him. It is messy. It is dangerous. And it is the kind of storyline that can flip in a second. So at the end of all this, I keep coming back to one huge question. Is Valentin about to save Jocelyn and Britt in one impossible move, or is he about to uncover a secret so big that it changes every single plan on the board?
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.